Thanks for tuning in to the Palm Beach Podcast, a weekly show highlighting people making a positive impact in our community. With your hosts, sports chiropractor and athletic trainer, Dr. James Spencer, photographer and art director, Mike Jones. Our show is brought to you by Pump House Coffee Roasters, Hopportunities in Delray Beach, and the Lotus Travel Company for retreats and tours in Palm Beach County. Hello, and welcome to the Palm Beach Podcast. My name is Mike Jones. I'm hanging out at Media Zone on Singer Island with a couple cool people. Dr. James Spencer, how you doing today, buddy?
Man, it's always a pleasure to see you. You know that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Sunny blue skies out there today, too.
Fortunately, beautiful weather here in South Florida and Palm Beach County.
And I think we have a special guest in the studio with us today, don't we?
Bri, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners?
Well, my name is Bri Nicole. That is my official stage name. I am... what am I? I do it all. I'm a model, a mom, an activist. I've been in West Palm for about, this month makes it my 5th consecutive year here.
Wow.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. This is the longest I've ever stayed in one entire spot in my life. So that's like a wow.
Little nomad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love that.
And after seeing all the snow up north this last couple of weeks, very grateful to be located in Palm Beach County right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 75 degrees outside.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't pay me to go back and see snow. Like
No.
I do not miss having to walk to school wearing like 4 or 5 pairs of socks and
Snow's fun for the first day.
yeah.
After
that's
that,
it, yeah.
everything's
Maybe the
wet.
first 30 minutes, you know. Once I go play outside, have a little snowball fight, then I'm ready for a grilled cheese and tomato soup, you know.
Exactly.
Get
Cuddle
your,
up.
get your Instagram photo and call it a day, right?
Exactly.
You know,
yes. Yeah. I went outside and I'm going back in.
I love it. So tell the listeners a little bit about how you got started modeling and really where your future's going with that and what your goals are.
Yeah, so it actually, how I got started with modeling was completely random. I was actually on Clematis and I was leaving a club. And there I saw this guy, his name is Gatto. He was wearing all this equipment to take still photos, but to take quick still photos to create almost like a movement movie. And I'm walking by him and I'm like jokingly just get my good side, you know? And he ends up following me down the entire duration of Clematis and just records me. It's like 3:00 in the morning with this huge flash on. So I'm like, everybody was staring. I'm like, oh,
Making
this
a
is
scene.
awesome. Yes, this is so cool. This is awesome. And then the very next day, him and I had our very first photo shoot. And well, even my first photo shoot. And then after that, I started uploading pictures to a couple of modeling pages and it kind of just blew up. After that, I actually met a previous interviewee that was on the podcast, Jana Angel. She was a regular at one of my jobs, and she actually introduced me to my very first modeling agency that got me signed.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
And she's a fantastic human being.
She really
Exactly.
is. She exuberates love and energy. I mean, she is doing such great things for the community as well. Me and my son actually did a commercial with her and another James for Palm Beach County to kind of, to show off all of the restrictions and all the safety precautions that we're doing. So that was super cool that she let us have that kind of opportunity.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I love her. Since then, I've done a little bit of runway. I've got to walk into Miami Swim Week. I've been published by L'Oreal magazine. I've done some music videos, so I'm kind of all over the place at the moment.
What's your favorite?
I don't know. I love it all.
Yeah.
I think at some point I just like that people are, and I hate to say it's going to kind of sound shallow. I'm like, people are admiring me. I don't have to say anything, you can see my energy and that kind of speaks for myself. So I think I like that aspect more so of actually modeling.
A real Renaissance woman.
Exactly.
That's like one of his like cliche taglines, like a Renaissance person. Like, yeah, I love it so much.
And I'd like to just give you a shout out. And for the listeners out there, you kind of just did it. Like you didn't really wait or sit back. You just started uploading photos and look at all the opportunities that presented themselves, right?
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. So thank you for that compliment.
Yeah.
I'm a real go-getter. Once I put my mind to something, I need instant reaction. I need instant, results. So yeah, that's really cool. I think it's a good trait for most people to have.
Well, it's how we got started here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just putting something down on paper and executing, right?
Yeah.
It's the affirmations that you were talking about.
Yeah, we have to have them daily to make sure, if we don't tell the universe what we want, how is the universe going to know what we want?
Well, and I think just from our conversation before we went on today, I love hearing like how community based, and like I know this person, I know that person, and that's really what we need right now as a community for like these small local businesses and influencers, whatever, to leverage each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's Target's going to be okay, Costco is going to be okay,
Yeah.
but for us, we can be the glue. And like the real catalyst to help take off everyone else's what's the Pump House Boys said, like a rising tide, everyone else's boats rise. I really like that, where it's like if we all can do this together, it'll be beneficial for all.
Of course. It's
Thank
all
you,
about
Pump
community.
Yeah. So talk a little
definitely-
bit about I know you mentioned there was a little event last week.
Yeah, so I am a part of the Upward Project that was founded by Jai Allen. The Upward Project is a group of artistic people, musicians that love to throw events together to either show off their artistry, but to also promote peace and equality through the music and arts. I feel like, as we were talking about earlier, music and art is very universal. Everybody can understand music. Even if you don't understand the language of it, you can understand the feeling that music is supposed to have. And I feel like that's like a web to everybody that brings back community and peace and equality, and just really have everybody be one. The event last week was the Uproar Showcase called a Blackout event. It was at House Lounge in Lake Worth. That is an LGBTQ friendly lounge that is actually almost brand new. They haven't been open for very long. So it was awesome to be at a location that was still new to also promote them as well. They had a whole bunch of music there that was hosted by Soul Fam. That is an artist collective. They have, oh my goodness, such great musicians. Everybody there is so talented. Their Instagram, I think, is SoulFam 2018. I definitely recommend just checking them out just to see all different kinds of artists. It's all different kind of genres. And they're all performing all over not only just Palm Beach, but kind of even in Miami-Dade and all of that. Yeah. So it's super cool to see artists, not just from here, go, down south and kind of promote Palm Beach as well.
Maybe we need to start the Miami Beach podcast.
Ooh, yeah. Have them be
Now
the
we're
first
talking.
people.
Hey, let's expansion here.
I love how that works out.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
Patent pending, trademark.
It's and it's cool to see that everybody's just supporting one another, whether it is local or artist. And again, that's why we started the Palm Beach podcast, was to give back to the mom and pop shops, and the glue or the web of the community is it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, of course. I feel like during quarantine, everybody was trying to figure out what their niche was. Kind of, all right, we're in this house, we can't do much, so what can we do in the house that we never tried before? And at that event, I feel like a lot of people figured out a hobby during quarantine, and they had all these different kind of vendors, from like crystals to handmade jewelry, and somebody was using recycled bottles and was recreating those to make different artifacts out of them. I thought it's so cool to see people take creativity and just run with it.
Beautiful.
Have you been creative your whole life, or did you find like a spark later? Was there an event? Was there a thing?
It was a spark later. Honestly, I always felt like I had like a creative trait in me, but I never had the push to go and try it until about 2 years ago. And then I'm like, okay, let's try out music. Let's see how that goes. I released a couple of songs. I have about 3 or 4 songs out on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere. And I loved doing that. And then I'm like, okay, now let's try something else. Let's try about producing, engineering. So co-produced all my songs, wrote all my songs. So I started creating an in-home studio so I could try to record at home. That kind of took a lot out of me because I would be up for hours trying to make music.
Well, we know how that goes.
Well, audio engineering is like a whole different beast. I came from a video background, and I've learned more about how important audio is to the visual experience. Like, people will watch an iPhone video if like it's good sound, like they got their AirPods in and it's like decent audio, but people will not sit through unsatisfying audio.
Yeah.
People will literally tune it out or leave or change or turn it off, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, we were just talking about that earlier, right? Like we were listening to a video and there was such an echo, and I'm like, well, as snobby as it sounds, the echo is actually distorting what I appreciate about the video.
Oh, not the reverb. Not the reverb.
And that's where, but it's also a good learning experience for people who are producing their own content, or even for us here running the studio.
Yeah.
We're always learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always learning.
I love that. I always say there are no losses or L's in life. Always got to turn it into a lesson. So even if it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, you're going to go to bed a little smarter because you now know what not to do.
I like that.
So say like someone that's sitting at home right now and they're watching on YouTube or they're listening on one of those Spotify or Google or Apple Music platforms, and they feel like they have something that they want to do. Music, modeling, photography, art, whatever. What would be like something that you would say like as a piece of advice that you would part on to them?
The first step is always the hardest. Actually getting out of the thought process to the very first action process is always the hardest part. Once you actually start doing it, then it's gonna be a domino effect. If it's something that you really do love, it'll start coming to you more and more, easier and easier. But you have to take that first step.
So stop planning on planning.
Yeah, procrastination
Right?
is the killer of dreams. you know.
But I think it's important too, like you just said, like, do you enjoy this?
Yeah.
I think there's like a facade or like a glamour about certain things, but like if you don't like painting, but you think being a painter is cool, if we have that self-awareness to be like, well, maybe this isn't like actually for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I think identifying that, hey, I really like making music.
Yeah.
I don't know how to write a song yet, but I like it. And so maybe that would be like something too, where we could say like, do what you love.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I feel like if you want to do something, you're not going to do it to get results. You're not doing it for the money. You're not doing it because, it's to look cool. You're doing it because you genuinely love to do it. And once you get that feeling, once you know that you have that like in your hobby, it's not a hobby anymore. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Everything else comes after.
Yeah,
naturally.
I love that. No, I love that. And more people would, if they executed on that premise, I think there'd be a lot happier people around us.
Yeah.
I really do.
I remember like one of our mentors, not personally, but like an online guru guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. You know Gary V? Have you ever seen his stuff?
I have not. Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
He's very like
The
crass
name,
New York,
yes.
New York, like sweary type.
That's what popped in my head, one of his videos. I'm like, oh, okay.
and like I always go back to, he's like, would you rather be like the best YouTuber ever, making like $55,000 a year talking about Ninja Turtles or whatever, or like go make 60 at a job that you absolutely hate? Like, is the cost benefit ratio there to earn an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a year?
Yeah.
And it's more like fulfillment, happiness, living a life of purpose.
Of course. And I would hope that is the goal for everybody, figuring out what your niche is, why you were put into this universe to do,
And with the young entrepreneurial spirit that we've seen here, we actually, because of COVID, we've seen more and more people chase that. Because it's more authentic, it's more real, it's what the universe is telling them they should be doing.
Yeah. No, I don't think people like working for other people anymore, and it's like, if you love doing something, it's a plus to make money off of it, but it's a plus to be successful while doing it as well,
I realized I was a much happier person not being an employee. And like I remember saying, you could go and build someone else's dream, or you can build your own. And not to say that like every single person in the world should be their own small business or
Correct.
whatever. Like it takes a team,
Of course.
but it just makes sure that like you're happy and you fit in where you ideally see yourself as a person.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's that hope. I love that. Something else to really look forward to, seeing how your dreams really advance with you and grow with you. I feel like as humans, we are meant to evolve. We should not be the same person that we were 5-10 years ago. So I'm like, also with that, it's also enhance our other traits and hobbies that we do as well.
And I think people sat with themselves more in the last year. So maybe there were some more moments of realization. I think, due to the nature of the world that we live in, people were, stuck with themselves more than they probably ever have been in their whole life.
Fun.
Right?
Yeah, that was.
But I think you do.
Yeah.
You said it like the last episode or 2 episodes ago. Like, you gotta have a hard look in the mirror sometimes. And like when you're go, I'm going from here to there to there. I'm calling in a coffee to pick up on the way to the thing that I'm already late for.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's nice that hopefully people are going to be better, stronger, better people after all this.
I hope so too. I feel like that's definitely the vibes that some of the people are giving out here.
Well, and it's are you present, right?
Yeah.
If you're living that lifestyle, you're not there in the moment like we're doing right now and sitting and having a conversation. It's oh shit, what's the grocery list, or I gotta get the and that just takes away from the human connection, which is what we all thrive off of.
I love that.
So what's some goals that you have set out for this year? What are some things you want to accomplish?
Oh, wow.
Not to put you on the spot or anything,
Well, we got to talk about what you're doing tonight too.
Oh, well, yes. Okay. Tonight I am performing at Hook's Sports Grill and Bar. Wow. The tongue twister. Say that 3 times fast. That location is off of Southern and Military, and it is a rhythm and dine night. So there's going to be about 10 or 11 spoken word poets and 3 R&B singers.
Sweet.
Yeah, the area is super cool. This will be my first performance in over almost a year, since right before COVID. So,
Congrats.
thanks, making sure that goes well.
No pressure.
Yeah.
It's okay. We, the liquid courage may carry over from the...
We're starting off early, friend,
Yes.
right?
It's the afternoon.
Is it? There you
Don't
go.
judge us.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Definitely not here, but
But it's always island time.
exactly
In South Florida.
in sunny South Florida. How can you not drink on weather like this? Also, I do want to send out prayers and love and light to the people that are in Texas right now that are dealing with the weather and all their roofs coming in and they're out of power. I mean,
their wind turbines froze. They couldn't get energy because it
that's crazy.
froze.
That is crazy.
Unreal.
Yeah, definitely sending love and light to everybody dealing with that, because I know when I have a hurricane down here, I'm freaking out. So
It's a real part of living in Florida.
yeah.
We'll send us some sunshine over their way.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Let Texas thaw out a little bit, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Definitely, that's something that, again, just creating community and culture within everything around the area and even around the United States. I think being present, coming together is something that's special, and it's kind of been revamped over the last year.
Thank goodness for that. I feel like everybody was in such an autopilot mode before quarantine. Like you were saying,
Yeah.
it was just, I can remember where my days just started to just mesh by even before quarantine, where I'm just working. And I'm like, there's got to be more to this. There has to,
And I think, hopefully we learned that maybe you don't have to sit at a desk for 40 hours a
Mhm.
week to get the job done.
Yeah.
Maybe like some meetings could be like an email. So hopefully we all improve and become and evolve or whatever and get better.
More
from all
efficient
this.
ways to do things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with technology, right? Like Zoom, we should have invested last October, I guess, but it's amazing to see, someone comes up with a solution to a problem. And I think if they took the risk to start that business and it solves the
Mhm.
problem, kudos to them. They should go that direction, right?
Of course. They cut out the middleman. I'm still surprised at how like Zoom just skyrocketed though. I'm thinking like what was before that? Skype. And then what was before Skype? That was it? That's
AOL Instant Messenger? I don't know. How far back are we
MySpace.
going here?
MySpace. Yeah, so I loved seeing companies that's really come out of nowhere, but like you said, just have a need for what people need and then just apply themselves to that. That's really cool.
And do it from a place of love and generosity.
Yeah, not for the money or not because it's going to be the next top thing. Yeah.
Well, I know I can speak for Mike, but I know we definitely appreciate your energy in the studio today.
Thank you so much for having me. This
Yeah.
is so cool. My first ever podcast. This is like I'm glad you guys booked the cherry for it.
Well, and we even had to get you the special headphones because we wanted the hat, like hat game
can't
strong.
mess up the hat. We can't. So it's actually
So we had
funny.
earbuds in.
I have a video on my Instagram right now that's kind of like low key going viral, and I feel like it's because of like the little hat flip that I did, and I'm like, oh, this is here to stay.
The swag.
part of the brand.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
So how do people find you online?
My Instagram is Bri_Beautiful, like Bri Beautiful.
I like that.
It's BRI_UTIFUL. And on that page, you can find links to all of my music, my websites, my modeling page, and all things that are associated with Bri.
And whatever you wake up and want to do next. It was funny before we went on. You're like, I tried like 7 things last year.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Learning.
Yeah. I call myself a hyperfixationist. I have to be learning something at all times. So I'm still teaching myself how to play the bass. I'm trying to get down this one song by Thundercat, and I'm like, I'm going to get it. I feel the callus coming soon.
Yeah,
but
it's a percussion instrument.
Yeah,
the bass.
Yeah,
it's not like the guitar.
Not at all.
It's different.
The guitar was worse for me, honestly. So thank goodness I finally found my Oriah. So,
there you are.
So I'm super excited for that.
Well, anybody else who you would like to thank?
I would really like to just kind of shine a light on a couple of businesses and people that I know. One is Melody Ave. That is a local studio in Palm Beach County that I go to. It's owned by Eric, Ivan, and Spencer. They are 2 fantastic people. They have a whole studio where they host events at. You can go record there. You can host events. A couple of the musicians from the others music collective I mentioned go there to go record some of their music as well, and even some visuals. It's super awesome. Yeah, I was there yesterday, and they always have the vibes. My son loves to go there to go play the drums. We'll be there for hours, and I'm like, oh, okay, Malachi, okay.
No, we're not buying a drum set.
Unfortunately, I went and got an electric one. I was smart though.
You can put headphones on,
and
though.
that's exactly why I got it.
Yeah. Strategic.
Yes, that's exactly it. Also, I bartend at Grandview Public Market. That is it's in the warehouse district, and they host all their vendors. They have all kinds of food. They have live music there.
They got Pump House there.
They do, yeah. Oh my goodness! Shout out to Lauren.
Friends of the show.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
I've always wanted to say that. Friends of the show. I've been like waiting for that moment.
You were waiting.
Oh, those guys. Jen Angel, friend of the show.
I love that. Pump House has great coffee. I mean, their iced coffee keeps me alive sometimes. But they also have great music there. They have like a naughty trivia on Saturday nights. And then they have bingo and all kinds of different bands. The There's also an event happening on March 6th. It is with, I think it's going to be called, I don't want to say the wrong name. I know it's a music festival that's going to be at Hyatt's Place, Grandview, and like 2 other locations where it's just going to be live music. It's like tiny little music festivals because of Sunfest had gotten canceled, or Moonfest.
Yeah, Sunfest.
Yeah, because it got canceled. So they're now going to host tiny little music festivals at different locations throughout the day. So on March 6th, it's going to be at all different kinds of locations. If you follow Downtown WPB Dude, he has all the information on it. He's also like a really big promoter on musicians and other businesses as well. I mean, he is in every event he goes to. He's in the scene. I love that.
Awesome.
I think we got to get Downtown WPD Dude.
Yes.
WPB Dude in the studio.
Yes, 100%.
We're gonna get him talking about some events in here.
Yes. Oh my goodness, he knows all that information. He, if I'm not mistaken, I think he curates most of them as well. So
Wow.
he would be a great friend of the show.
Wow. It's powerful. I mean, doesn't it just roll off the tongue?
Does.
I like it.
It really
Well,
does.
And now, thank you for being a friend of the show.
Thank you so much for
Correct.
having me. I really appreciate having this platform to be on. You guys are awesome for that.
And thanks for drinking a funky Buddha with me in the afternoon.
Cheers.
Salud.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Palm Beach Podcast. Our show is brought to you by Pump House Coffee Roasters, Hopportunities in Delray Beach, and the Lotus Travel Company for retreats and tours in Palm Beach County.